Hey guys, it's Tony and we're back on the bench. And this evening we're going to be getting into doing some disassembly servicing on another Penn Spinfisher here. So we're looking at a Penn 550SS, stands for skirted spool. Okay, and I just recently worked on a couple of skirted spools, some other Penn models of this generation basically. This is the second generation of the Spinfisher. Some people actually call it the third, but technically the Greenie series and the Z series are all roughly the same design. This is where they switched over to making them skirted spools. Okay, so we're gonna get into taking this reel apart. Now, one thing we want to note, I mean, it's relatively clean, but this reel does have a problem. It's just really hard to turn. It's just really, really sluggish. And so my guess is that it hasn't been serviced in a while, and it's definitely overdue. Okay, so we're going to start with getting this handle off here. We're going to take this off. And we're going to take our spool off. Drag stack is in there. We're going to take that apart a little later. All right, make note that there's a Teflon washer. You want to double check that and make sure that that's intact. Okay, we've got 3 screws in these positions. We're going to take all 3 of these out. And what we're going to do is we're going to disassemble everything in its entirety. And then we're going to spend some time cleaning the parts. And I'm going to do that off camera, but I'm going to explain all the things that I do to do that cleaning. And we're essentially going to prep all these parts for reassembly at that point. And then I will post a separate reassembly video. Okay, this is a high-speed gear set in here, 5-to-1 gear speed ratio. That makes these reels really desirable for a lot of different types of fishing, especially surf fishing for that matter. Okay, so we've got a bearing here. All right, we want to pop this bearing out while we're here. Okay, we're going to clean off those screws. Okay, bearing's going to come out. Now these are actually, in fact, serviceable bearings in here. Okay, now I don't think there's too many problems with them. All right, but what I am going to do is I've got this little cup right here of some WD-40, and I'm just going to soak all these bearings in that little cup. All right, it's a 3-ball bearing design on these reels. That's one. Okay, now we're going to take the main shaft out next. You can't pull the main gear out without getting the main drive shaft out first. So these 2 screws come out down here at the bottom. 1, 2. We've got a plate that needs to come out. Yeah, my guess is that there's just a lot of old dried up grease here that we want to clean up. Okay, so yeah, that's what we're talking about when we talk about dried grease. Okay, nothing really unusual. It's frankly probably the original grease, more than likely. All right, so we've got a crosswind block here, and then we've got a crosswind gear here at the bottom. Okay, but yeah, a lot of old tarred up grease is basically the result that you get here. You can see it, it's all over the place here. Okay, pretty common thing. So we've got a rotor nut here that has to come out. I think that's a 1/2-inch drive, or 1/2 inch I should say, not 1/2-inch drive. Take that off with a open end wrench or a socket, nut driver. Okay, so rotor comes off. We're going to put those pieces off to the side. All right, so this is what we have here. We have a friction clutch anti-reverse system here. And I'm actually currently working on the 450 model. It's kind of like the baby brother to this one, and it actually has the same problem that a lot of these do, where the anti-reverse kind of stops working eventually because the ratchet either wears out or the fins on this friction clutch wear out, one or the other. Either way, we need to take all these parts out, and we're going to clean them up a little bit. Okay, so we got a brass screw there. Okay, so this is what we're talking about here. You've got that friction clutch, and then you've got these teeth on this ratchet here. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to clean these pieces up really well so that they don't have any of the old grease or oil or dirt or anything on them. These are meant to go back dry, by the way. They're not meant to go back oiled up, because it's a friction clutch system. Okay, so you have to have friction in order for it to work properly. It doesn't mean that grease won't get on it necessarily. Okay, but we got this collar here, and you just want to make note of the orientation of all these parts so that you can put them back in the same order. Okay, here's that other bearing, main bearing right there, and then there's another bearing here on this side, on the non-handle side. Take this cap off. Okay, and it's right there. And we're going to pop that out. Okay, so there's some old grease holding up in there. We're going to let the WD-40 do its work on that. Okay, and then for the rest of this, what we're going to do is we're going to spend some time with some Q-tips and some degreasers and some more WD-40. We're going to clean up all these parts here. We're going to start the WD-40 process right now here, basically. Okay, you can use liquid wrench or you know, whatever penetrating oil that you have kicking around, but you want to break down these old greases and stuff like that. You don't want those holding up in there. Okay, and same deal in here. We're just gonna kind of hose this down a little bit gently. We're gonna let that work its way in. All right, and then last but not least, we're going to take apart our drag stack, and we're going to get that out, and we're going to have a look at that. I'm almost kind of led to believe that this reel didn't really get used a lot. I think it just got used a little bit and then it sat a lot, I think, is kind of my guess. Because the parts are all in pretty good shape, actually. Sometimes these snap rings are a little difficult to get out, but you just got to work your way in there with a small tool, small screwdriver. Okay. All right, so here's our drag stack, and it's in good, clean shape. There's no problems here at all. I don't think this was used that much at all, or it could just be a new stack. Okay, so nice, clean stack. Okay, spool is nice and clean, so there's no problems there. Okay, so off camera, I will be spending some time cleaning up all these parts, getting all this old residual grease and whatnot out of here, and then we're gonna prep all of these parts and get them ready for some reassembly. So thanks again for watching. This is Tony with Back on the Bench. If you liked the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, please make sure you do subscribe and hit the notification button. That way it will give you all the updates as to when there are new videos coming out. And I will have quite a few more coming out shortly, so make sure you stay tuned for those, and we'll see you next time.